When we talk about SAP PS, right, for every module that we have in SAP, we have some data. We're going to talk about certain master data and structures. Now, before even going here, you need to understand what is project systems all about. So, systems here, this is a SAP tool, a tool from SAP to map the business functions for projects. Okay, projects are the sequence of actions or activities that are required to. Okay, and these actions are unique. They are not repetitive in nature. Unlike production, right? Suppose if you make a manufacturer pen, we know how much time it is going to take and everything. It's already set. So
Correct.
it's not a project anymore. So what can be the examples of a project? Setting up of a company, setting up of a new manufacturing unit, um, uh, having licenses of software. Okay, implementation of SAP can be a project. In a garment industry, it can be like setting up of new designs, or maybe that can be unique, which is totally unique. So likewise, or it can be for aerospace industry, it will be like designing of a new fin, or
Mhm.
yeah, or what is it, failure analysis on a particular axle or something. It can be any project which takes a duration, which has cost and requires considerable duration. Suppose if
Mhm.
it's a 10 days project, it does not really matter because, I mean, 5 days, 2 days project, it hardly matters because by the time you enter, create a project, your days will be over. So these projects have sufficient costs and have duration which needs to be managed. And there are multiple um, stakeholders who needs to be reported, who needs multiple activities needs to be monitored and so on. So in this, so whenever we talk about a project, so what do we basically need is the project structure and the master data. So when you talk about the project structure, we'll talk about it. Basically, it is about the project. So now most of the times in previously traditional things, they manage it through Excel. Okay. Say for example, if you want to construct a building, it can be a construction project, or you want to set up a new plant, or you want to build up a new car and a prototype, for example. So whatever that things be, um, so those are all projects. Those needs some amount of planning. Okay, and these planning, then after the planning you'll need some budget, and when the budget is there, you either go for execution. If the budget is approved, then it's the project execution really starts. The work starts on the ground, and you have man, machine and material all put together in the project. And then once the execution comes in, all the actual costs start coming in. When the actual cost starts coming in, then based on every no, what we need to understand in a project, every month there will be certain things that's period end closing. Okay, or settlements. So what is the what does that we have spent, what was that we were supposed to spend, what is the forecast and so on. So you'll have multiple parameters that we need to analyze during the period end closing. So what and then you have reporting. Okay, these are the basics modules. What we need to understand is, in when a project is there are two things. One is customer based project, and one is, you can say, capital projects or asset based projects. Okay, these are the main ones. Then there is something as overhead projects also. There are multiple names, but these are the three main ones. When we say custom based projects, means we are doing this project for a customer. Okay, for example, now I am a L&T employee. I am a L&T employee. Okay, L&T is going to do a project for government of Telangana for a extension of the metro. The project name is extension of metro. Correct. Now this becomes a customer project in SAP. So in the L&T system, we'll maintaining a project extension of metro is the project name, and then we'll start creating the different structures that is required. We'll start planning the functions, get the budget approvals, and then actually start working on it. And then we'll, at every month, we'll analyze whether we are on profit, loss, what is happening with the project and so on. And based on that, that is something known as result analysis. Okay, and after that we'll get the reports. Now in this case, here, as this metro is a single project, right? So in this case you can figure it out. It will be related to SD also, and so sales and distribution. So how it is, so different modules will get linked to it. We'll see that as we move forward. So this is at a very high level that I'm speaking. If you have any questions, you can ask me. No worries.
Okay. So I see here in the module one, master data and structures, right? Structures, I got it. And how about the master data? Does we have any unique master data in PS?
Yes, yes. See what happens is project
Uh-huh.
system sits on top of other modules, as we understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mm-hmm.
project? Project is a company within a company. Why I say this? Because when we are talking about project systems, right, it involves all the modules.
Ah,
When we talk, yeah, right from procurement to HR, you need laborers, you need managers to execute the project, right? You need
correct.
MM, you need to come, you need to have all the procurement functionalities, the warehousing, the storage functionalities. Then for SD, you need to have a again all the
Contracts,
sales and
things, yeah.
distribution
Yeah. Customer.
and the
Ah,
finance. Finance
mhm.
and budgeting will be a part of it, the core again.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so all the other functionalities, all these things are integrated with PS.
Okay. Okay. For example, like master data, say for example, in SD, I see customer as a master data. In the material master materials, I mean, we have as a material master data, and pricing condition master data, like condition records, we can say. అది కూడా, that is also called as a
Correct. So I'll give you some examples of master data
okay.
and project structures.
Ah,
So what we call master data and project structures will be like the work centers.
okay, work
Work
centers.
centers are a group of people. It can be a combination of man, machine, or man itself, or machine itself.
Okay.
So these are known as work centers. So combination. So it can be material. Material will be there. We'll have in plant maintenance. Now, when project system is linked with plant maintenance, then we'll be also having the plant maintenance master data also.
Okay. Okay.
So whichever module is there, that master data project systems takes care. You know? So
Oh,
material master is a part of it again. So when
okay.
we talk about our training, we'll be having all the master. We need to have master data. That's the reason project system integration is a little tough because it sits on all the other masters.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So for
Got it.
example, if I want to run a scenario, say budgeting, budgeting
Mm-hmm.
is fine. I can make it planning. Yes, it is inbuilt in SAP. But when I want to do a project execution, I need all the W bases ready. I need when I do a procurement for a project. So there is some concepts like project stock, yeah, project related material. All
Correct.
those things will come under project execution. So as we see, yeah, all the different modules are very well integrated with SAP, and we let's move through one of the modules and let's understand. Probably we'll get more questions. So now when
Got
I say module one, yeah, as I said, these are the structure, project structure. So this basically consists of these structures. One is, say, as a PS consult, I mean, with project systems, for every module that you have, one is the, you'll also have the configuration, right? So we'll be talking about the configuration details also, what is important for the project. Yeah. So one of the main key point is the project profile. Yeah. Project definition, network and activities. WBS means work breakdown structure. Then there are documents and texts, statuses. We can keep changing, updating the statuses, create new statuses. There are standard statuses and there are certain statuses we can customize. So those statuses you'll see. There is something known as simulations and versions.
okay.
See what happens in the project, what we want to understand. Okay, in case if the project gets delayed by 10 days, what happens? If a particular activity gets active, okay, let's understand. See, when we want to construct a house, what is the basic step? We'll be first creating the foundation. Or first, before that also, we'll get all the clearances ready. First, we'll then clear the ground. Then third is the create the foundation. Before that, we'll have the design and everything ready. That is another part. So every status is linked to the previous status, previous activity, right? So there are different activities that we need to put together, one after the other, or some activities can start together. Some activities have to start after the particular activity is completed. So there are different relationships that we'll see in the activities. So all these things we can check it up in simulation and versions. In a project, we can have multiple versions. Say for example, if instead of there are certain times where you want to simulate a project, means instead of what will happen in the future. Okay, so that simulations we can do. See, in a project, what happens? You need lots of material. Okay, if a material is going to get delayed, sometimes you need to import the material. Yeah, so we know that there are chances of in PS project systems or in projects field itself. There are whenever we estimate a time for an activity, there's something as pessimistic time, optimistic time. Pessimistic means the worst to worst situation will happen, and optimistic means the best to best it can happen. We can't determine activity will get completed just before this or before that. We can guess. Say for example, as I said, taking an example of a construction of a house, for example. So when we say okay, we say we want the foundation to be completed by so and so date, but in between if there is rain, right, the foundation then needs to be shifted, right? We can't, our work needs to be shifted. So the project says based on the estimations. So in the project we call it as estimation. So that's where we'll see, that's the reason planning is very very important. Though we know that there can be a little variable, but we have to plan it. Once we plan it, then we have to monitor it against the actual. That's the reason we will see actual date and time, actual costs, everything. So one is planned, second is budgeted, and then third is actual. So all those three will be tracked in costs as well as in activities. We'll understand that. So as of now, probably you have got a feel of what actually it is. But now in this, first one is project definition networks. These are the details which are required to understand or create the project in the project systems. These are all important. WBA structure determines how the project flow will happen. What are the things that will be tracked? In some cases, in some companies, they don't want to track the activities. They just want to track the costs. They want to track the costs because the project is going to take years. For example, if an infrastructure project, if they want to build up mm, a society or a group of buildings, then project takes 2 or 3 years. Or say project, say building of construction of a bridge, a railway, a highway, airport, and what is it? Yeah. So all these, it can be laying of pipeline, oil pipelines, it can be any project of a certain duration. Yeah, a substantial duration. Then it makes worthwhile that we track every activity because it is going to increase the cost. So when we talk about these kind of big projects, right, every day the cost that they are spending is huge. Then it makes sense to map it in SAP. For small, invaluable projects, definitely it will not make any sense. That's the reason. And why project systems again? It is a key. For sometimes for the company, this becomes a survival. I mean, if you have heard about the startup company, right? I mean, when they wanted to build that nano in West Bengal, they had set up a they had to set up a manufacturing plant, but unfortunately, it didn't get complete. So the complete nano project got flopped. So these projects are very strategic to the company. It can it can increase the revenue, or it can immediately make a huge loss to the company if it is not done correctly on time, because they are already spending, they need an output. So the projects are, that's the reason they are called as strategic in nature. Okay, so we talked about all this. These are all basic stuff. Project builder, project planning board. Now this is Shanmukh, what you're saying, right? See, all the activities probably would have gone through it, right? Different activities, relationships, and all. These are all meant in the project planning board.
Yes.
Okay. The next module three, what we are saying is the when after planning functions. When I said planning functions, okay, yeah. So this in planning functions, majorly what we are going to do is we're going to plan for the resources. It can be material, it can be man, material, and yeah. So here you can see all the resources that we are going to plan. Then we can also go on to plan. See, one thing is when we plan the cost, we are also going to plan the revenue. Now, when revenue comes in, SD comes in because sales and distribution only when there is a customer that the revenue will flow. As I said, we need to understand projects can be for a customer or it can be for the company itself. When it is for a company itself, it creates an asset. When it is for a customer, it generates a revenue. Hope you have understood this, right? These are the two main things.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Say for example, I am now say for example Grasim. I am now setting up a new plant in Gujarat. It is going to add revenue later on, slowly, but immediately it's a capital cost to me. It will be shown in my balance sheet. A new company has come up. It will show in my balance sheet. But now suppose L&T is doing this plant for Grasim. For L&T, it is a custom project. It will show in their profit and loss account. Correct? So they are going to gain profits out of it. But for Grasim, it will be a asset. It will be a capital expenditure. Is it clear?
Yeah. Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. So these two things are mapped in SAP. Now, whatever is the business process, we are going to map in SAP. Simple as that. Yeah. So, so revenue planning is mapped as a part of planning. We see cost and revenue. Whenever we say custom project, you will have see something as revenue planning additionally. But for assets and all, you don't need revenue, so revenue planning is not done. Okay. Now
Even
next,
for asset planning later point of time, we have to, there will be a chance that we will be planning revenue later point of time. Initially it was asset and then.
that's what I'm saying now. That is the second case now. See, for
Okay.
example, yeah, it's a shipbuilding project. I build a ship. If it is for the own company, or say, for example, not at okay, we build a company, we extend a company. That is for own purpose. That becomes an asset. Okay, if you talk
Hmm.
about infrastructure companies that are recent projects that I have done. Okay, just to give you an update. I mean, I've been into project systems for a long time now. It's been more than 17 project. I've been into logistics, as I said. I mean, SAP, we have moved down the ladder. Project systems is the core. I'm
Hmm.
basically a mechanical engineer. Projects is was my core, is my core. And but as I said, now I'm into more on getting into leading the team and so on. Okay,
Okay.
and so I've done many implementations in project systems in different domains.
Okay.
Okay, and right from pharmaceuticals, chemicals, we have manufacturing plants, utilities, and aerospace industry. We have something, yeah, and automobiles, yeah,
Hmm.
and infrastructure. Infrastructure has the areas are totally different, and um, if you talk about chemical and pharmaceutical, they go for majorly the capital projects. So whatever they do R&D and all, right? That becomes sometimes it will become an asset in case if they get an IP and all. If they're
Hmm.
not, it will go into as a overhead. So
Okay.
yeah, so different companies in India and abroad is what um, you've done implementations, supports, and so on. Okay. Also, what we do is in project systems, if you're interested, there is also something known as PMP professional. Yeah, it's a certification, right? PMP certification and all. So I'm already certified for that as well. And
Okay.
So after my mechanical domain, I was into projects. I was a project manager, and when we switched to SAP and all, we used to work before that in JD Edwards. Then we moved to SAP. Since then, from SAP, it's been a long journey, and that's how it is. Yeah. So here coming back to our module, so we just talked about the planning functions as we understand. These are all as we these are all based on general logic. Then one we say is like when we talk about budget, right? Because these budgets now, these are all industry pain points. What happens is when in a project, if there are multiple people working, multiple groups are working, so it's very difficult for the expenditure to be tracked or the budget to be tracked. Why a company needs to track a budget? See, at the end of the day, such a huge amount when a company wants to spend on a new project, it borrows it from some company. I mean, it can either put it from its own expense, which generally does not happen. They take it outside from different banks and so on. Yeah. And they have to plan their cash flows correctly. Otherwise, they can go bankrupt also. Suddenly, if the cost rises, if they have not estimated properly, the project is suddenly stuck. What happens if you see big companies are fallen down because of certain events? If the planning is not proper, if at the right time, if the right budget is not allocated, or something is missed, then they get into a, I mean, a sort of a cash crunch sort of thing, and things starts getting downwards. So to address this pain point, there is something known as a budget. So once we understand the budget, once the planning is done, um, as I said, in case of capital projects or what I can call that as an investment project. So that is before the start of the year, previous year itself, they will determine what is that budget that needs to be allocated separately. What are the projects that we are going to do separate, new in the next coming year, and then the management addresses those, takes the plans from all those departments, and then put it as a capital expenditure allocation, and then they'll release the budget. Okay, this is one part for the asset. Same thing for the customer based projects also. After doing the planning everything, then we'll be releasing the budget. Okay. um, so a simple logic, say for example, if if in a company, instead of if they just change the grade of the material, huge amount of cost can be saved, right? Or huge amount of cost can be incurred just by changing of the certain material grades. Like if you use steel pipes, right, of certain category, what is it? S404, or if you just use S416, 416 is more costly than 404. So I mean, small changes also that can impact the project. Yeah. So these all things are understood, planned well. Yeah. And that is maintained in the as a part of the budget. And in SAP, we can have multiple budget versions also. And also, so once the budget is allocated, that is the original budget. Then after the budget is released, budget has been, the management has given the approval, the original budget is maintained. Yeah. And then based on the original budget, in case if the budget release is there is another step known as release. Say for example, if it is for a particular project, around 100 crores is allocated. Okay, that is the original budget for different activities or WBS elements. Out of that 100 crores, the project can run for say 2 years. So approximately say 50 crores each year. So 50 crores each year. So what they want to do is in a month they want to see that the spend that they do is limited to a certain amount. So manager has decided on that logic. Uh, so accordingly they'll release the budgets, and then all the other teams needs to work based on those releases. Okay. In certain times, what happens in certain part of the area, that budget allocated is not required that much, which they had initially thought of. As we know, the market dynamics keeps changing. Yeah. Like we have seen the diesel prices and all the petrol prices, petroleum product prices have increased, but suddenly it also decreases also. So initially at certain levels, suppose 2 years back, project prices were increased, right? We didn't know, so we planned the budget accordingly. But suddenly now we see the fuel, petroleum costs, and all these things have come down. So definitely you don't require those budgets. So you can return the budgets. Or in case if there is a situation where now we have understood that the steel that we were procuring from China is been restricted, they have stopped it. But now we have to get it in from in-house or from America. So what happens? We need to have additional budget. So budget supplement. Supplement means additional budget. Next step is availability control. Now what happens is now no, not everything needs to be budgeted, right? So in certain WS elements only budgeting will be maintained. Availability control means if the budget is available, then only the purchase requisitions POs will go through the actual cost. System will only allow if the budget is available. We can maintain those validations. That is availability control. So now the key area of project is project systems gives a tool to the management to control the cost. Or suddenly what happens is otherwise the cost will shoot up like anything. Yeah, that's the reason they are able to have visibly understand where the cost is going. They get more, it's more like a dashboard for them where they understand is to what level the fuel is when it is going to get empty, like when we drive a vehicle. So they're able to control and monitor all the different aspects of the project. Suppose if they know that certain times if certain the labor itself is not available or the skilled labor is not there, or if there are some challenges, environmental challenges, or if there are any other challenges, market dynamics, they're able to quickly turn it around. They can take a quick decision, all those things. So only when they will be able to take a decision when they know what they have spent, what they need to spend, what is the current status, what are the challenges, all those things they need to understand. Yeah, when you talk about a simple project, say for example, I mean in Hyderabad you have heard about Ramki, you have heard about Janapriya, you have heard about My Home, right? These are all using SAP PS as of now. Okay, and some of them I have implemented. So what they do, so yeah, so basically what we need to understand is they need to control the costs, and costs keeps increasing or decreasing. uh, Procurement team, what they do is, say for example, the materials that they require at the end of the phase of the project, they may try to procure it now, which is not required, isn't it? The management can take a decision. And what happens in this way, they can optimize the cost, they may optimize the duration and so on. So that's the reason budgets are very important. And then something else, budget carry forward also. Now, when we talk about the next module, we have confirmation, actual dates, procurements, billing, external procurement, and progress. So, this is a part of the project execution phase where the activities that were planned, they are being started completing. And one after the other, the activities will start getting confirmed, and based on the confirmation, the next activities will start. What then happens is we are able to analyze what are the different milestones that we are going to get, when those milestones will get completed, then we can plan the procurement and everything accordingly. Say for example, if a material is delayed from say an important material, we already there, a manpower is waiting for it. Just imagine if it just gets delayed by 10 days or 15 days. Yeah, the site can't work, they need to have those material. They'll do some other work here and there, but it's a loss for the company, isn't it? So the planning of all this, correct planning, is very important. Suppose if they planned it much early, 6 months before they got the material, it's still waste of money, isn't it? I mean, the cost is already booked, already they're paying them. I mean, the inventory is lying there, not only the warehousing cost, everything is lying outside. So that's the reason all these things they need it. In real time, there is something known as Primavera. Have you heard about Primavera? Shanmuk? Hello?
Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, Shanmuk. You heard about
Yes.
Primavera?
Pardon?
Primavera.
Hello.
Hi, you've
Yes.
heard about Primavera MS project?
No, no.
Okay. Acha. ठीक है. So what happens is, in order to plan materials and costs, we have certain tools. As we have SAP, which is integrated with all of the modules, there are separate tools. So Primavera is one of the major one which is used to do the scheduling for a big projects. Like if you have around say 10,000 line items, 10,000 or 1,000 line items, 5,000 line items, that becomes very cumbersome in doing in SAP. Yeah. So the reason they use it, Primavera has been used industrially very for since long time. Okay, but it integrates with SAP. Okay, fine. So you have material procurements.
So, sorry, Santosh. So you said it's Primavera. It's a third-party tool which integrates with the SAP. So it
Yeah,
will do the planning, right? It will do the planning,
yeah, planning and scheduling,
scheduling. Okay, okay, done.
but it will integrate with SAP.
Okay.
So if you see, there will be projects which will ask them to map this with
Mm-hmm.
Primavera.
Okay.
See, SAP, why it is like it is SAP, they look it as an engine. I mean, and Primavera is more of a extension to that. So because costs and all those things needs to be tracked. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because Primavera is not directly integrated to the MM module or SD module, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So what they do is they go through the SAP PS side, but they don't
Okay.
want to map the the scheduling or the time planning in SAP PS because of the functionalities Primavera provides. Primavera is only used for majorly for planning and scheduling. That's all.
Okay.
Due to user friendly and the license
Yes,
restriction.
licensing is one part of it. Second is it's user friendly at industry standards. It has been proved because you can handle multiple activities.
So the users they themselves can enter in the tool and it can integrate with
No, users again, what has happened is again limited. Not everybody is handling the users. To be really frank, very few people will be handling those. So when we go to projects, you see only certain people. Now, okay, there is a concept known as time booking. You have heard about time booking. When do we need users to come? One, during the confirmation of the activities, right? Where the users will come into picture. Say, for example, you can't ask the general user, I mean, the laborers and all, right? You will have supervisors who will confirm now these activities done. Yeah, they'll
yes.
send out the messages to the planning team. The planning team will then do the confirmation in SAP.
Okay.
See, in the real time, what happens? There are people, right? There is a site or construction or whatever. There will be certain group of people who will be doing it, right? And there will be ground level. Then there will be hierarchy of managers, supervisors. Those people will be doing the confirmation. Now, in order to understand how much labor we have done, what is the cost that we are putting, all those things, there's something as time booking. Okay, that is known as timesheets. You have heard about timesheet.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
again, there is an integration with SAP HR here, PS and SAP HR.
Yeah.
So as I said, that's the reason I said a company within a company means you will have all the departments within the project systems which will get integrated for that particular project. What at the end of the day project system is doing is a cost collector, and it is collecting costs, not only costs, but also helping monitoring, doing all the necessary validations and everything. And but that's at a very high level. Oh, just a minute. Okay. So after this, we'll have procurement. So when we say material procurement, you're going to create. We're going to set up the purchase requisitions. We'll have purchase orders. You have the RFQs and the goods receipts for it. Now, when there are certain things as consumables and there are certain things as project stocks. Consumables will directly create actual cost against the project, and then there will be project costs, project stocks, which will get consumed based on the issue of the goods. So it will be there in the project stock. If it is not used, it will be moved from one project to the other, or it can be moved from one project stock to the normal stock, or from the normal stock to the project stock. You understand? So what is a project stock? Project stock is a specific stock only for that project. Okay, so that we can maintain it in project systems. So that's the unique part of it. Very good functionality. Yeah. So these are parts of material procurement. So when we do goods receipt, after that invoicing. So goods receipt and invoicing will create actual cost in the project. So all these are tracked. And now suppose if the budget is available, not available, based on that, it will allow, disallow the procurements or the actual costs. Now this was what we spent, right? Procurements means we are spending. So basically
Okay.
this is cost. Now when we
So
do billing is revenue.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to stop you here. So I just have a question. So now we procured the stock against one project, okay, and then we came to know that we have some more time for this project. Can we allocate this stock to the other project, or
Yes,
is it
yes, absolutely.
specifically
Absolutely.
procured for this project
No,
itself?
we can do that. We can do that. Yeah. What
Okay.
happens is the cost booked for project A,
Mm-hmm.
when a stock moves from project A to project B, the cost also moves.
Oh, okay. We can move that individually. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, thank you.
So that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, the budget then again, it takes care of the budget as well.
Okay. Okay.
So next, what is the billing part of it? So billing, as we understand, whatever now it can be when we talk to a customer, the based on the contracts, it can be of different types of contracts that we have. You have T&M contracts. So all the contracts, whatever that is, we'll be sending out a billing based on the specifications in the contract. So we have again. So so when we talk about billing here, we need to understand this. Here we are tightly integrating with SD. Yeah. So it can be milestone billing. Yeah. It can be something as T&M billing. I mean, all types of billings are possible with project systems integration. And now, what happens is, let's take an example of one which we have done is for a solar company. Okay, now in solar company, we manufacture solar panels and grids and so on. So based on the nature, the customer will be giving us a sales order. Based on the sales order, will be the SD team. Now they know what the customer will do. They say 1 megawatt of so what it means 1 megawatt of solar panels or something. Yeah? So what happens is there will be a different amounts, accessories, everything will be then determined from the project systems. So that is a direct integration with project systems. Okay. So in
Okay.
that, in the project directly, there will be a project created, and the schedule and everything will be come back to the SD team for quotation. So they can
Yeah.
then tell the customer this is the timeline that approximately you'll have, and this is the cost that you'll have.
Mm-hmm.
And then the project SD systems can then give the final quote and get the order. And once the order is done, the sales order is created and then it is linked to the project. And based on the milestones of the project completion, the billing will happen. It will remove the billing blocks in SD
Mm-hmm.
in the sales
Correct.
order.
Yeah. Billing plan tab. Yes.
So that
Uh,
is something known as we have different concepts. We have got assembly processing, and this is milestone billing. Yeah. So likewise, we can then SD will raise the bill, do the billing, and the costs and the revenues will flow to SAP, I mean project systems. And then project systems, either in project systems or in SD, we'll be doing the result analysis. Okay.
okay. Okay.
Result analysis is
Just now,
nothing but yeah.
just now you told time and material, right? TNM. So I also heard of fixed fee price, and cost plus fixed fee. So I mean,
Yeah.
what?
So when we say yeah, you're right, absolutely. The fixed fee is something which we are determined, right? Irrespective of the duration, we are saying this is going to be the cost.
Oh, okay.
Correct,
Fixed.
right?
Okay.
Fixed.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
So in sometimes what happens is uh, we say the materials will be purchasing on behalf of the customer.
Uh-huh.
We'll be getting the services, but
Okay.
so I mean there are different combinations that we have. So based on that, we'll be doing the billing.
Okay. Okay. Done.
So yeah, so all types of contracts that are possible in SD that will be linked to SAP. You have something as a WBS will be linked to those SD elements.
Hmm. Hmm. Correct. Under
So
account
now
asset.
when it yeah, so it can be
So,
linked to other quotation to the sales order. Yeah.
oh, so the same project can be linked to other, say, quotation and all again.
No, no. So logically, then it does not make sense, right? I mean,
Exactly.
SAP does not stop it as of such,
Uh-huh.
but it does not make sense, right? It means everything is mapped
Actually,
as per the project.
sales order is connected with the quotation. No? Quotation is the prerequisite of sales order.
But some
So,
companies, like for example, right now we start with contract, sales contract, and we are using WBS element over there itself
okay.
right now.
So
And
you no
then
need to connect again in the sales order because it is 1:1 combination, right?
Right. So
yes,
based on the contract, you are creating sales orders, right?
correct, exactly. With reference to that, we create the sales orders.
Right.
Uh,
So that is one of a scenario. Makes sense.
And I also heard whatever you said right today, overhead projects and all. So prime contract I heard, but I don't have exact I mean knowledge on that, but I thought of asking with you later point of time, subsequent classes.
Yeah. So overhead project is something like will go into the overhead costs. Either it will go to the cost center and so on.
Oh,
Where,
okay.
yeah.
Overhead projects, because at the federal level we were having one WBS, and even at the item levels they were using different WBS elements at the item level as well. For the different line item, I mean for example line item 10 they were using something X, and at line item 20 they were using Y WBS. I don't know, I mean how it was going to work over there. I don't have any knowledge on that. uh,
See, yeah, what happens is, now for example, say there is a WS, say insurance, okay,
mhm,
means or say travel and insurance. In a
mm,
big project, you'll have a WBS because lots of people will be traveling and all, right? But those
correct.
are part of the projects, isn't it? We want to track it separately,
Yes, yes.
so that will be a WBS, travel and insurance and
Oh,
travel. I'm just saying.
okay, okay, got it. So that will be defined in the structure, like
Yes,
WS.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes.
okay. Understood. Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
So likewise, what happens is every WBS, some you can make it as a cost collector, or you can just keep it as just a label. I mean, it depends. So you have
Okay.
these configurations that you need to do, and then
Hmm.
you will telling the system that what kind of WBS it will be. It'll just be a static WBS, or you want to collect cost to it, or what else. So all
Okay.
those things it will do. So there are
Okay.
lots of functionalities that we have.
Okay.
When you talk about the WBS structure, you have a
Mm-hmm.
WBS, then you have network, you have activities, you have again activities again multiplied again divided further. You got
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then you'll have milestones. All the structure part will be of structure. Yeah, and
Okay.
so next is one more thing is the external procurement of services. Services are major ones. Again, that can be tracked against the project. It can be different types of services. So all those things are tracked, and then the project progress. So project here something that is known as milestone, um, trend analysis, and you have certain reports and all those things. Those are basically project reports.
Okay.
SAP standard reports is what we're going to say. And when we do all these things, so you can see is like the result analysis and project settlement.
Okay.
So that at the end of the month, we need to understand, right, where do we stand, whether we're in a profitable position or something is a concern. So all those things are understood by the result analysis. By comparing what? By comparing what we have spent, what we have earned, logically, in simple
Mm.
language. So that's how it is. Yeah. And then the project settlement.
Oh, okay.
And then what we have, all this is then we have our standard reports, as I said, structure and financial reports that will be available from SAP. Now, when you talk about ERP, we have something as in S4 HANA, you have got lots of tiles.
Mm.
Okay, lot many
Correct.
applications are there. Some of the applications are stabilized, but some still are an issue. Okay, lots of reports are there in project systems. So in S4 HANA, you'll have all those. Yeah.
Correct.
So did you come across Pranit for SAP PS in cloud?
Uh, I did not get. Ah, yes, yes, yes. I worked on in the recent project for Naira. Okay, they asked initially for the project systems to be integrated with SAP SD. So, but our PS consultant said that will not fit. Better to go directly post the direct entries to the GL account. So then they dropped. I got a chance to create a project and all. uh, yeah,
Okay,
but
good. Nice.
yes, and manual settlements I did once. Like I created a sales order, contract, sales order, and direct billing document, and then we can go see the all the, I mean, amounts at the project level, and then we can settle it. So the scenario was different. Like they used to collect the down payment from the customer, and they don't want to show that they don't want to recognize that revenue at that month. So every month they will tell us like how much amount to be recognized from that amount customer whatever paid to. It should not directly go to the revenue account. So this was the scenario.
Okay,
uh,
cool. Nice. So nice. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it will be like more of cost tracking for them, because this will become a report where directly it will be audited and it will be in their normal books of accounts. Yeah. I mean, this will be
Correct.
published. Yeah. So that's the reason.
Correct. Yeah. As
Okay.
you
So any other questions you have? I mean,
uh, as far no, I can say Santosh. Yeah, it's good.
okay. Okay. Yeah, good. Shanmugh, anything from your side?
No, it's okay.
Okay. So as we
Is it
said, is like
possible to
Shanmugh,
talk to
we'll
you separately for 2 minutes?
you're fine. We can connect now. So Pranit, if you have any questions, let me know.
No, no, Santosh. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah,
Okay, sure.
I will be
Fine.
dropping.
Okay then. Yeah, we'll
Thank
Okay,
you.
call
thank
off the
you.
call now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Sure.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you. Hey, Shanmugh. Sorry, you had a question, right? So fine. Hello, Shanmugh.